Hello everybody and welcome back to another Our Life chapter. Today is one of those very rare moments where I am actually cold. I don't think it's gonna last long though because the lights. But yeah, let's just start this chapter. I didn't play for like 2 days and I feel so fucking empty when I don't. Like, what did you do to me, Our Life? What did you do to me? Besides, apparently the DLC for step 3 is going to take even longer than I expected to drop. And I don't know what else to do. I met some people that have played it already like 4 times. So I guess that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Anywho, I'll stop the chat now and jump right to grown up. Let's go. Oh my god. Very first line, and I already don't know how to say it. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sounds of the birds chattering outside the window while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms had left the two of you along with Lizzie to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient waiting for her golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly, a light came to Lisa's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. What a bad idea. Bad game, okay? Let's play house. Let's play the doctor. Let's play like we're adults. No, kids. Bad idea. Parents, don't let your kids play that. They don't play outdoors anyways. They're always inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play. Why? I said why, and it'll be fun. Duh. What do they do inside that we don't, besides use the phone a lot? I hate being an adult. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove. I hate that they don't get along, but at the same time, Lizzie, when she was young, or when she was little, she was kind of annoying. If you haven't played the game, then you'll meet big grown Lizzie at some point in my little playthrough. Jamie. I forgot my name is Jamie here. It's been only 2 days and I already forgot everything. Jamie, what do you think? Do you want to? You know what? In my first time playing, I was very pleasant with Lizzie. I don't have a sister. I have a brother. We get along perfectly fine, but he betrayed my trust and my friendship, and that kind of ends things for me. Like, if I give you my friendship and my trust and you betray me in any way, could be like a small little way, I will rip it away. I like my brother. He's cool and I loved hanging out with him, but what can I say? I am that bitch. So I don't think I've ever wanted a sister, but I was very pleasant with Lizzie because I didn't want her to be mad at me or hate me or anything. This time I don't want to be pleasant with Lizzie. Cove said it. That doesn't sound fun. I was also very pleasant with Cove because I really wanted him to like me, but he's kind of a dick. At least when he's little. I bet we could come up with something else. I don't know. I want to. I mean, it doesn't sound fun. I'm gonna go with Cove. Come on, neither of you have had one single idea all day. You could tell that Lizzie wasn't about to give it in anytime soon. Fine. No, hold on, Cove. I thought we were past here. We don't want to play adults. With her victory against Cove under her belt, Lizzie turned to you. Word. I'll try it, but that sounds boring. Okay, I'll stay. Sorry, I have other stuff to do. You kept hesitating. I'm gonna have other stuff to do because I am a very busy and important 8-year-old. Fine, whatever. Play by yourself. Just don't be loud. Cove is not gonna want to play with her. They don't get along at all. Me and Cove will do it ourselves. It's decided. He looked back at you regretfully. I know, Cove. You should have stuck with me. I guess. Now go on. Nodding goodbye to the two of them, you trailed off to find something else to do. Like he promised, Cove stayed put with Lizzie for the next couple of hours while you... He really just let me do whatever by myself? Watched TV, played Godzilla, read a book, built a fort. I'm gonna read a book. You could hear them talking as you sat with the book by the window. You opened the picture book, seriously? 8 years old. 8 years old. In your lap and immediately got lost in the story. It was about a little donkey who grew up on a farm, making friends with all the animals and pretending to be like them. You liked the part where she swam around in the pond with the ducks. It always made you laugh. You finished that book and went to get another, but before you could choose one, you noticed that Lizzie and Cove's voices were getting much louder. Of course, they're fighting already. Oh my god. Shouldn't be drinking while playing. It's only my first beer, okay? Don't come at me. Curious about what was happening, you craned your neck to hear them better. At first, you mostly only picked up on Lizzie's high-pitched shouting, giving orders, telling Cove what to do, yelling about sports and the Olympics. Oh yeah, the game she picked was... Ugh, I'm glad I'm not playing and I'm reading my little picture book. That was pretty typical of Lizzie, so there was nothing new there. But then you started hearing Cove more and more as time went on. I'm so sorry I left you there, Cove. It sounded like they weren't having a very good time. You stayed put, you went to see what was going on. I don't know. I mean, 29-year-old Sora would stay put. But 8-year-old Sora would probably go to see what was going on. I'm gonna go see what was going on. You abandoned your cozy reading spot to go check what was happening with them. Are you okay in here? From up close, you could see that your sister was red-faced and pouting, while Cove mostly just looked confused. Neither one paid you mind. Why does it look so cute? Shut up, Cove. You're being so unreasonable. You... I don't get what you want. The game doesn't make sense. It doesn't! Oh my god, what part of playing adults makes sense? It does. You have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. The argument was so high-strung that it was making you a little bit uncomfortable. You had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Had the two of them been arguing like this the whole time? Thankfully, like a greeting card angel, right? All of a sudden, I forgot how to read that word. Mom walked into the room. Lizzie rushed to her, hanging onto onto the hem of her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, Jamie, it's time to get ready to go. Sorry you have to leave already, Cove. Their mommy said she'll walk you home so you won't be left in the cold. It's summer, no? Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself, of course. 8-year-old Cove. Oh my god. But, bye, Jamie. There was still a harsh edge to the brief farewell, but you knew it wasn't you he was mad at. Yeah, Lizzie, ruining my relationship already that hasn't even started yet. Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked. Cove stood up and stalked out of the room. Does that word have a different meaning? Is my brain in Spanish mode still? It always is. Anyways, out of the room, shoulders drawn tight. Okay. Worried, Mom turned to look down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice with your new friend, weren't you? You told the truth, you lied. First time playing, I told the truth because even though I was trying to please my sister because I didn't want her to hate me, I have never been really good at lying, so I'm gonna tell the truth again. Oh, should I lie? I don't want to lie, not for Lizzie. I like Cove better. They were fighting, Cove and Lizzie, for the whole time. Your sister's jaw dropped, looking betrayed as Mom put both hands on her hips. Elizabeth, I told you to be kind to him. He's having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced by a tiny frown. I know I tried, but he was... No buts. No buts. We both know you can show someone a great time when you put your mind to it. We're going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging a foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. You caught pieces of Lizzie sulking to herself about how it was his fault, too. Oops. But it was over. Right, we better get a move on. Let's go, kids. Noelani, I don't know how to pronounce Mommy's name. Noelani, where did you leave the car keys? That's how you play adults, right? According to The Good Place. Oh, where are my car keys? Mom hustled you all out of the door, and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice. Oh my God! Okay, focus. Mom hustled you all out the door, and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. I'm struggling so much in this chapters when reading and shit, but I think it's a good practice, no? Maybe I'll get better, hopefully. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents noticed she wasn't in a mood to be bothered. They give her space, and Mommy just asked you what you like to listen to. You picked your favorite song. It always made the car ride more fun. You chose the soundtrack to a cool movie you saw a couple of months ago. The Greatest Showman, yes please. You chose a song you knew Lizzie liked. Maybe that would cheer her up. That's what I picked last time. I'm gonna go with The Greatest Showman. Eventually Lizzie came around and started singing along with you. She acted like she was grown up most of the time, but you knew she liked the movie too. Oh, so it's gotta be a kids movie. I mean, The Greatest Showman, it's a kids movie, right? My like fourth cousin or something is 3 years old and he loves that movie. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hour watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, but you could tell that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took the family out to dinner. Good old times. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. Earlier, you'd only caught the tail end of your sister's argument with Cove, but you could kind of tell that all this helped Lizzie be less angry. The car ride home was quiet, with only the radio providing escape from silence. Lizzie had been in better spirits now, but the closer you got to your neighborhood, the more she wiggled in her seat and frowned out the window. She knew what was coming when you all got back home. Clearly, she was dreading it. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto your street, then reversing into the driveway. Once she caught the ignition, it was dead silent. No one spoke, only unbuckled their seatbelts and opened their doors. Lizzie was the last one out. Once everyone was inside and done taking off their shoes, she propped her hands on her hips. Now then, Mr. Holden's car is in the driveway, so he should be back from work. That's good news, isn't it, Elizabeth? You and Cove can hash things out before the day's done. Lizzie didn't complain or put up a fight. Her head ducked so she didn't have to meet anyone's eyes. She nodded once. Good. Let's move this to the kitchen. Mom went over to the house phone, the rest of you following behind her. Mommy put a gentle hand on Lizzie's shoulder as they walked side by side. You watched them from the back. This was only happening because you told on Lizzie. I'm not gonna feel bad for telling on her, okay? I'm not lying. It was her fault. I already saw the argument that they had in my first time playing. It was some stupid shit about she wanted to play. She was some important athlete or something. Cove was too, but she was the only one good at whatever sport. I think it was golf, right? It was a stupid ass argument. I'm not sticking with Lizzie. You didn't regret it. You felt a little guilty, like you had betrayed your sister. You hadn't liked doing it, but had to. But it was her fault for doing it in the first place. It was her fault. You hadn't done anything wrong by telling the truth. It wasn't like Lizzie was going to say it on her own. The four of you stood around the kitchen in a loop-sided square. All eyes were on Lizzie, who kept her gaze on her feet. How awkward. My mom never made me... I never had many friends though. Especially none that I would fight with. I mean, if I didn't like someone, I wouldn't hang out with them and that's it. Oh, no. I remember, okay. When I was very little, I mean, I moved to this state when I was like 3 years old. And we moved to a house, but it was like, it had 2 levels, and the level on top, we lived my mom, my uncle, and me. I think my grandpa wasn't living with us at that time. And then in the bottom floor, we had our own entrance. It's like a huge house not like, I don't know how to explain it. The point is, in the bottom floor there was this other family living, and we still get along, we still talk, they still live in the same place, but now my other uncle lives in top floor. Anyways, this one of the women living down there had, I think it's a cousin. Yeah, a cousin. He was a year younger than me, but we basically grew up together. It was like kind of like this story, because we used to see each other all the time. We grew up together. We promised we would marry each other. This one time I think I was the flower girl to a wedding or something, and he was just sitting in the not chairs, benches, I don't know, the church, with his mom, just crying his eyes out because he thought I was getting married, and he was like, but she promised to marry me. So we were having this kind of relationship that it's building up here in the game, but eventually we grew apart. I moved from there when I was like 8 or 9, and yeah, I still like him though, not in a romantic way, but I still like him as a friend, even though we really grew apart like a lot. He lives in New York now, and he was there while I was living in Jersey, but we never got around to hang out or anything. So yeah, this same woman had another cousin, but we wouldn't get along at all. This other guy and me would hate this cousin and wouldn't want to hang out with him ever because he was mean. Like if we were building a dam or whatever we were doing, he would just come and destroy it. I don't know what was wrong with him. I never liked hanging out with him, and we got into a few arguments, but my mom never made me apologize with him. He was the one that did wrong. I mean, yeah, they made him apologize with us. But I just never wanted to hang out with him. And to this day, I mean, I don't know how he is now, but I wouldn't want to hang out with him. I do want to hang out with the other guy. I don't know how he is right now either, so maybe a bad idea. I don't know. My mom never made me apologize because I was a cute, nice kid. Maybe. You remember the number of Cove's house, don't you, honey? Lizzie jerked her head in another nod. Sullen. Without further prompting, she stepped forward and she began to dial. Mom reached over and pressed the button on the base. Suddenly, you could hear the phone ringing. She turned on the speaker. That's awkward, isn't it? The phone rang a couple of times, then stopped. Mr. Holden's warm voice came through the other end. Evening, Holden residence. Lizzie looked over at Mommy, on shore. She nodded in word. Hi, Mr. Holden. It's Lizzie. Can I talk to Cole? Lizzie White? What a surprise. But of course you can't say hey to the boy. He sounded cheery as usual, though definitely meant it when he said it was a surprise. You thought hard, and you were sure that your sister had never called Cove's house before. How did she know the number then? Or why? Mom spoke up before Mr. Holden or Lizzie could say anything more. Her arms were crossed over her chest, her lips pursed. Hi, Cliff. Noelani. Jamie and I are here too. Good evening. We're sorry to bother you so late. You spoke to say hello too. You said nothing to Cove's dad. I wouldn't have said anything. But I want to be nice. But I wouldn't have said anything. I picked the said hello to in the first place. Let's not say anything. You shifted from one foot to another, but remained where you were. The gang's all there, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Mommy was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes, but it's going to be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today. We were hoping that the two of them could talk and make up. Is this a good time for you and Cove? A fight? Cove didn't tell me anything about that when I came home. It does explain the funk he's been in tonight. He chuckled lightly. Despite that, it didn't seem like he really thought of it funny. Anyway, it's good. You didn't catch us at a bad time. I'll go grab him for you. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove, there's someone on the phone for you. After a bit of silence, there was more muffled talking from Cove's dad. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she could talk to you. Jamie's on the other end listening too. Don't you want to say hi to Jamie? It took a bit of back and forth, though the conversation seemed one-sided since you couldn't hear Cove properly. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad. Hello? Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know. Dad told me. See, Cove is a bit of a dick. I mean, he's upset, but... Cove's tone was defensive. Lizzie turned to Mom, scowling. One stern look from her, though, and Lizzie turned away. I just called to say I'm sorry for not playing nice with you today. I won't do it again. 'Cause you won't like him enough to play with him again. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice low. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. I mean, that's fucking... I don't have kids. I don't want kids, and my motherly instincts are dead, but I don't think this is a good way to teach your kid a lesson. It's embarrassing. I mean, yeah, make them apologize, but not everybody fucking listening. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's why I'm not gonna have kids ever, hopefully. She was still being genuine about feeling bad. Cove must have realized that too, because he sighed quietly. Okay, I guess I'm sorry too. A sense of relief washed over everyone at his acceptance of the apology. No matter how much I practice, I feel like I'm not getting any better. Mom uncrossed her arms while Mommy's shoulders relaxed. Lizzie's eyebrows raised up. You wondered if she thought that he'd refuse her apology. Dad, can I get off the phone now? You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cove felt awkward about the situation. He had come off uncomfortable the entire time, really. It's fucking uncomfortable. And I made him go through it in my second playthrough. Again. Yeah, you can go back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Bye, Lizzie. Bye. Bye, Jamie. You perk up at the mention of your name. You smiled, even if he couldn't see it. Bye, Cove. With that said, Cove must have handed the phone over to his dad and left since Mr. Holden spoke up. All's well that ends well, as they say. Is that a saying? Thanks for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on Mommy's hand to catch her attention. Can I go now too? Sure, sweetie. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cove in front of fucking everyone. They should have, called the news and everything. Just have the cameras in front of her face while she was doing it. Mom flashed a brief smile at Lizzie and nodded her in agreement. I didn't read. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scurried off towards the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom and Mommy returned to the phone. taken it off the speaker, they continued talking to Mr. Holden. You couldn't tell what about. You were glad that it was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along, and probably still won't, but they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and Mommy weren't upset either. Everything was finally back to normal. With that thought, you retreated to your own room with a spring in your step. That was shorter than I remember. And this time I didn't play with them, so I guess it felt even shorter for me. Well, yeah, I was planning on doing a chapter a day or something, but honestly, putting on makeup every day is a struggle. Not all the time, but sometimes I just don't want to do anything. And right now, honestly, I'm sorry if you noticed, you probably did, but I feel like my energy is so low. Like, I don't know. Not that I'm super bubbly anyway. I don't feel like I am. Some people tell me I am like very, I don't know, happy and high energy, but I never am. And right now, I feel like my energy levels are just on the floor. I had a cup of coffee today, so I don't know what's going on here. But anyways, thank you for coming with me through this grown-up chapter and through another Our Life chapter. I love this little game. I keep saying it, but it's like, I don't know how else to describe it other than love. These 2 days I dreaded putting on makeup, so I was like, I'm not gonna film like that. But then I was sad and missing Our Life, and you know, it's weird. I'll see you in my next video.
I am Peter Pan, I'll never be a man if you never wanna grow. Take my hand, I'll take you to Neverland.